Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to After Sunday. The Lord still speaks. We have had church on Sunday. You had your midweek service on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on your denomination, depending on where you're located at. But tonight, sponsored by the Social Maximus, we bring you After Sunday because we know that you need just a little bit more to get you through the week. And tonight, we have a special treat. Oh my God, I'm just so excited to have this young lady here tonight. I had to go through three assistants. I had to go through her calendar link. I just had to jump through so many hoops to get her on tonight. We have Dr. Barbara Swinney on the line tonight. I am your boy Donald Lee with D. Lee Ministries, a ministry of hope, a ministry of power, a ministry of truth. And I'm just excited to have Dr. Swinney on tonight after Sunday. Dr. Swinney, good evening. How are you doing today?
Good evening. Good evening. I am doing fabulous now that I'm here with you.
Well, I had to jump through 20 different people to get to you. So look, I'm just grateful that you were able to be here tonight. Because listen, you are a busy lady. You are always on the move. Let's get right into it. Tell the audience just a little bit about who you are, and then we're going to get into some of the good stuff a little bit later. But I want them to know who Dr. Barbara Swinney is.
Well, I am Dr. Barbara Swinney. I'm a life and holistic leadership coach and coach trainer. I am the founder and CEO of the Deeper Leader Institute for Personal and Professional Development. I'm also the founder of Deeper Women Lead Global, which is a platform established for women in leadership to share their stories and strategies for life, love, and leadership.
So you're not only a coach yourself, but I heard you say you are a coach trainer.
I am.
I heard a saying that every coach need a coach, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yes, I am.
tell us go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I said tell us a little bit about being a coach's trainer, because sometimes when people are, certified in their specialties, they feel like they know it all. How do you just kind of bring that together being a coach's trainer, Dr. Swinney?
Well, for most of my career, I have been in leadership. I've been an educational leader for 29 years. And for 26 of those years, I've been in an active role in leadership. And the very purpose of leadership is to inspire action and grow and develop other leaders. So coaching is no different from leadership. It's simply an extension of leadership. So if you are a leader, you're going to need continued growth. And also, you cannot lead anybody beyond your own capacity. So once you hit that ceiling, if you don't continue to grow and learn, you won't be able to continue to grow and develop other leaders.
So are you saying it doesn't matter how high you go, don't matter how much money you got in the bank, it don't matter your status, everyone needs to be coached? Is that what you're saying?
Everyone needs to be coached because, Donald, the coach's role is to come in and lay a different perspective on top of your perspective. And, even though, we're all coming into this world of greater awareness, self-awareness, sometimes we go blind to who we are. So sometimes you have to have somebody who's on the outside of you who can remind you of who you are. And that's what a coach does.
So you are an author as well. Tell us about the books that you've written.
My very first book was It's Always Deeper. And Donald, my editor told me that a book like It's Always Deeper has about an 18-month shelf life. And I wrote that book 5 years ago, and it's birthed a whole brand, my Deeper brand. So I wrote It's Always Deeper, which is 6 strategies for perpetual success. After that, with a group of other women, we launched Deeper Women Teach, which is our anthology series under the Deeper Women Lead Global brand, and we'll continue to write more books under that brand.
I heard you speak in October on a national stage, and you spoke and you broke down deeper. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you break that down for the audience? I just want to get right into it because it was so powerful. Do you mind breaking that down and just kind of going into what deeper means and why you actually came up with that meaning?
Absolutely. Deeper is an acronym for decide what you want and discover your purpose, examine your life, eliminate the barriers, come up with a plan of action, evaluate your progress, and realize results. If you do those things, you do those 5 things, you will definitely get to number 6, where you are realizing results in every area of your life.
And if you don't mind sharing with my audience, what got you to that place in life? Because I understand that sometimes life has to come and do this thing and where we get tapped on the shoulder. And I know you have a story for that as well.
Yes,
What got you to that place to where you just said, you know what, let me just go deeper into not only being a better me, but also growing so I can help others become the best versions of themselves?
You know, Donald, clarity comes through chaos, right? Sometimes you get the greatest revelation through your chaos, through the noise of it all. And in a period of my life, probably about 6 years ago, I know we're coming out of a pandemic, but I experienced my own personal pandemic when I was literally tapped on the shoulder and told your services are no longer needed in this position. Donald, I was at the height of my career. So to hear those words, you got to know that I was wondering, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And Donald, before I could wrap my mind around what was happening in my career, I learned that my marriage was up against some long-term infidelity. So I found myself after 20 years in a marriage and in a career, in a place where I didn't know who I was, but two things that I most readily identified with were spirituality. And that led me straight to the middle of me. And it took me on this deeper journey. It took me on this journey of discovering my purpose and getting very, very clear about what I wanted.
That's good. Now, it sounds like you had to get a hold of yourself, Dr. Swinney. Would you agree there?
Donald, I had to regain custody of myself because I had given my power away to my career, had given my power away. And I won't even say to the husband, to the marriage. I was married to the marriage. And I had given up so many of my rights. My right to speak, I had given it up. So I had to regain custody of myself.
That's good. And I really admire your full transparency, Dr. Swinney, because a lot of times when we're interviewing people and talking, we only want to tell people the pretty stuff, right?
Right.
We don't want to tell them the ugly stuff and what got us to where we are. But you understand, and I understand, that it's the ugly stuff that allows us to be who we are. Would you agree there?
Absolutely. You know, flowers grow in dirt.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I know you are in the big city of Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, everything's going on in Atlanta, happening. It's fast growing. You have an exclusive event coming up, and that's the main reason why I wanted you on this show, so we can talk about this event. Why should women come to this event? And also, just tell my audience about this particular event.
You know, Donald, the name of my organization is Deeper Women Lead Global. And I said earlier that it's a platform for women in leadership to share their stories for life, love, and leadership. And Donald, I want to take it a step further. What we're doing at this conference we're helping women leverage their stories. You know, sometimes we lose things along the way, or we think we lose things, but I'm helping women leverage their story. How do you take the pain that you've gone through and profit, not necessarily gaining a monetary profit, but you know, that's important too. But how do you become a better person because of your story? And then how do you use your story to help somebody else? And I told you about the book that I wrote 5 years ago, and that was the first conference, Deeper Women Speak. At that conference, Donald, we hosted 4 speakers. I convinced 3 of my friends to come to the stage with me and do this conference. Since then, at our last conference last March, we hosted over 20 speakers on the Deeper Women Lead platform. And this year at Deeper Women Speak, the goal is to host more than 25 speakers on the Deeper Leader platform. Last year, we did it in 1 day. This year, we're going to do it in 2 days. So on the very first day, which is April 28th, we will have the Deeper Women Brunch and Learn, where we will host 4 of our keynote speakers at the brunch, and then we'll do a whole bunch of fun stuff in between, and then we'll also host 4 more of our keynote speakers that night. And then the second day, Donald, is reserved for that woman who's never ever told her story, who I'm coaching them right now. They're going through my coaching program, and I'm teaching them how to craft their stories into a speech so that by the time they get to the stage, they'll be able to share it with power. They'll be able to expand their impact and their influence. And then the other group of women that I'm helping as a part of this process is the woman who is already telling her story. She's going through my Coach to Lead program. She's telling her story, but she wants to do kind of like I did. She wants to establish a platform, a brand around her business. So by the time around her story, so by the time she gets to the stage, she will be able to launch her platform from my platform. And that's the whole beauty and power of Deeper Women Lead Global.
So it sounds like you're taking them on a journey.
Absolutely.
So you're taking women the very place that you've been, but also you're taking them and you're holding their hand, whether they are experienced, whether they have never spoken a day in their life, and you're giving them an opportunity to share their story to the world.
Absolutely. That is absolutely correct.
That's awesome. So tell me, I know with someone who's brand new, they're probably excited, and it's easy to kind of get them to get on stage. And even though I hear the number one fear is public speaking, that's what they say.
Uh-huh.
But how do you talk to that woman? And I know, we're not calling none of your clients' name, but that woman who got some references, who's been on a few stages, but she's coming to your stage. How do you get them prepared for this moment, Dr. Swinney?
So Donald, that's exactly why we established the 3 pathways to connect with the platform. So in our Coach to Speak program, I prep them. We go through your story because, I teach them how to provide the most impact in the shortest period of time, because sometimes, we're married to our story, but not everybody is. They just want you to get to the good stuff, get to the stuff that's going to help me. So that's what we do in my program. I teach them how to, one, identify whether or not they've been healed from their story, because it's kind of hard to tell your story in a moving way if you're still living the story. So we help them go through that healing process, and then we help them take all of the stuff that they've been through and package it, and we get it down to a way that they can really explore their stories themselves and internalize what happened and process all of that, and then they're able to deliver that story from stage. But it's really about helping them get over themselves, because saying your speech from a stage, and you've done this, Donald, you get nervous every time. But a lot of times we get nervous and anxious because we're over focused on ourselves. So I teach them that the point is to focus on what the audience needs. And when you start to focus on somebody else, when you start to focus on the health and wealth of somebody else, it always puts you in a more calm space.
Now, I asked a coach a question about a year ago, and I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Now, you're no American Idol judge, but you've done this before.
I have.
What do you tell a person who just ain't got it, Dr. Swinney? And I'm not saying that in a negative way, because I know that's not how you do things. But if a person just ain't got it, how do you calmly let them know maybe this is not the road for you? Because, everybody thinks they got it in some area or another, right?
That's right. That's right. So what I do with them, first of all, they go through an interview process. So Donald, if they don't have it, they don't make it through the interview.
Okay.
Because I have to be very careful about who attaches to the brand. Now, I always believe that, you're supposed to leave people with their dignity. So I always do things in love and in kindness. And if there is hope, I always try to tap into the hope piece of it and invite them. Maybe they need more than 8 weeks to craft the story. Maybe it's just not enough time for them to get to the place where they're able to really perform their speech from a stage. So then I invite them to my year-long coaching program, where we work through all of the different pieces that are happening in their story and help them maybe couch it in a different way.
So what you're saying is there's hope for everybody.
There is hope for everybody. You know how they say everybody can dance? If you are taught how to dance, everybody can do it. And I believe that everybody can speak. Now, you might not be on big stages and all of that, but everybody definitely has a story to tell. And it's my job to help you get to that story.
No, I truly believe that as well, that everybody has a unique story. Because
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times when we are telling our story, like you said, we just want people to hear the parts that sounds so good to us, but the parts that sound good to us might not have moved this person to the left or this person to the right.
Absolutely.
We both sat under a coach, and they said that you have to do 3 things. You have to entertain,
That's
you
right.
have to engage, and you got to educate.
That's
and
right.
If you can nail all 3 of those things, you're definitely on your way to be a great speaker.
Absolutely.
Now, you got so many things going on, let's talk about the fun side of Dr. Barbara's work. What do you do outside of coaching, training, speaking? What do you do for yourself? How do you let your hair down?
Oh my gosh, Donald. Now, the people who know me, they know that my mother's maiden name is Williams.
Okay.
So when I'm out on the tennis court.
Okay, I got that.
I imagine that I'm a Williams.
Okay.
So one of my hobbies is to play tennis. I am a member of a championship tennis team. We don't just play for fun. we go to win.
Okay.
So tennis is one of the ways that I let my hair down. I also have two beautiful budding adult daughters that I love to spend time with and just hang out with and get to know them, and them growing me and me growing them as women. So those are my most powerful, I say, pastimes: tennis and hanging out with my girls.
Now, how can our audience find you?
I'm everywhere. I'm breaking the internet.
You like the CIA, right?
But you can go to www.deeperwomenleagueglobal.org. That's my website. You can go there and find out about all of the events, the speaking engagements. By the way, Donald, I'd like to let people know that I'm still interviewing for Deeper Women Speak. So you can register for an interview at deeperwomenleagueglobal.org. You can find me on all of the major social media platforms at Dr. Barbara Swinney. And also, Donald, we didn't talk about this, but I recently launched a podcast called Deeper Conversations with Dr. Barbara Swinney. It is on all of the major podcast hosting platforms, Apple, Spotify, all of the ones that you would go to hear the podcast. And it's also hosted on Deeper Leader TV, which is my podcast, which is my YouTube channel. So I'm going to tell everybody to go to YouTube, Deeper Leader TV, and subscribe. Let's get these followers up or these subscriptions up so you can stay tuned with what's happening with Deeper Conversations and Dr. Barbara Swinney.
I need everybody to subscribe to Deeper Leader TV.
That's it.
Today. Don't wait tomorrow. Don't wait the next week. And also, while you're there, I need you to subscribe to the Social Maximus platform, where this particular show, After Sunday, will be featured every Thursday night at 7:00 p.m. And while you're there, don't just subscribe. See, it's one thing to tell people to subscribe. So we got to walk them through, right, Dr. Swinney?
That's right.
Hit that bell button and get notified every time Deeper Leader TV comes up.
That's it.
Every time the Social Maximus has something, please hit subscribe, hit the alert button, because 2023, I'm telling you, look, the next time I'm going to probably have to get the FBI and CIA to get a hold of Dr. Swinney, because she all over the place. Guys, I follow her and her story, her journey. I'm seeing clips of the podcast. I'm loving it. I'm seeing how she's traveling, how she's on stages, and how she still makes time. Like she said, she's in education by day and she flies by night. So she does so much. So you definitely want to connect. But back to you, because it's all about you this evening. I want you to tell that young lady who wants to share her story, and this is serious here, but she's afraid. She's had some trauma. Life has came and tapped her on the shoulder.
Yeah.
People have walked out of her life. People have made promises. What would you say to that young lady tonight, Dr. Swinney?
Man, Donald, when we understand our magnitude, how magnanimous really we are, we start to understand that a part of our purpose, a part of our goal, I know everybody's looking for their purpose, but it's really already been established. Your purpose really is to help other people. And I know that your story may have been traumatic, but as you go through the healing process, you will start to desire that other people be healed. So even though you may be afraid to tell your story, you may be shy to tell your story, again, I say, don't focus on yourself. Focus on your healing, and then focus on the gift that you need or that you have that other people need.
You said something very important, and I want to just take a page out of your book. You said focus on the healing.
That's right.
Everybody needs healing.
That's right.
And everybody deserves healing. Would you agree there?
Absolutely.
And as a minister of the gospel, I see all types of people hurting, all types of situations. But there's healing available to everybody.
Absolutely.
But we got to be willing to lean in. Would you agree?
You got to engage in your healing. You got to be intentional about your healing. When I was going through all of my stuff, Donald, I ran for help. I took every divorce support class. I took a writing class. I took a financial literacy class, because I knew, even though I was in a state, I knew that was not my end. I was too young, and I had too much in me for that to be the end. So I knew that I needed to heal so that I could start helping and inviting other people into this place of healing.
So in closing, You had to make an acknowledgement. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And I had to own my part in it.
That's
Because a
good.
lot of what we're trying to heal is our own identity, because we attach ourselves to all of this different stuff. I was never my career. I was never my marriage. I was never any of the stuff that's outside of me. So I had to untether myself from all of that stuff that had become so enmeshed in my identity.
Dr. Swinney, I want to extend an invitation to have you back later in the year, because I think this is an important topic and we don't touch on it enough. We don't touch on the true healing. So once you get your conference over, once we align schedules, I want you to definitely come back. You have an open invitation.
Absolutely.
After Sunday. Yes.
I would love to. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want you to give a closing statement, but I also, before you do that, just let everyone else know how they can find you one more time.
You can go to deeperwomenleagueglobal.org, and you can follow me on all of the major social media platforms at Dr. Barbara Swinney.
And give my audience a closing statement.
Anything that you can imagine for yourself, if you close your eyes, anything that you think of, anything that you think you want to be, is microscopic compared to what you're able to become.
That's awesome. I love it. You heard it here first. Dr. Barbara Swinney. I'm Donald Lee with D. Lee Ministries, a ministry of hope, a ministry of power, a ministry of truth. You're just tuned in to another episode of After Sunday. The Lord Still Speaks. We're here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Social Maximus YouTube channel. I want to leave you with these thoughts, and I leave you with these same thoughts every week. I want you to love God. I want you to love each other. But most importantly, I want you to love yourself. Until next time, we are out. Be blessed.
Hey, good people, it's your man Shannon Casino. Thank you for clicking the link and joining us on another episode of After Sunday, brought to you by the Social Maximus Network. Make sure you guys subscribe and click the notification bell. Every week on Thursday night, we'll be bringing you new episodes of After Sunday. We'll have new guests and new topics every week. Make sure you guys tune in. I see you.